welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
You're listening to the 451st most popular podcast for people who know that onomatopoeia is pronounced exactly as it sounds.
Ian, my friend, welcome to Swift Half. How are you?
I'm good, Alan. How are you? Back in the pink room?
Back in the pink room. I want to say something today. You know, before we start, I want to restart our, because I want to say greetings, friends, acquaintances, and anyone else happens to be listening, because I haven't said it on our other podcast for that long, Ian. I'm missing saying it.
That's quite true. Have you had an interview recently?
Well, funnily enough, next week there is an interview coming out, but I actually recorded it literally a month ago. Me and Matt Roberts, we talk about fasting and things like that, but I recorded it a month ago. That's where I've lost all my weight. I'm well ahead of the schedule now. Everyone else is going to have to wait until Monday to start the schedule.
Meanwhile, I saw on Matt Roberts' Instagram today that he's abandoned fasting and he's recommending an all McDonald's diet. So,
Primal living, mate. Primal living. You have to go to McDonald's now instead of going on some strange and weird and wonderful food.
I've always wondered, Alan, McDonald's, is it called McDonald's based on Old MacDonald had a farm and all the animals on the farm make a quarter pounder?
Oh, yeah. That's going to get us cancelled. McDonald's hear this, that's getting us cancelled. But I like it. I like that.
Listener, let us know. If any of you are scientists, I know some of you are, please just do a DNA test on a quarter pounder. Tell us what's in it.
Have you ever watched that film about McDonald's, about the guy who got rich off the name?
No, I've not. Is it worth watching?
It is, just for the story of McDonald's, because McDonald's basically were two brothers, and it was a guy who, I think he sold milkshakes back in the time, in the 60s. He sold the milkshake machines, and he just happened to go to McDonald's, and he was shocked that he could order his burger and milkshake and fries, and it was there within seconds, and he didn't have to wait like 10 minutes for it to be cooked and everything. So he spoke to them and he bought the business. Oh, no, he went into business with them, but he quickly realized that the business wasn't actually McDonald's. The business was buying the land and franchising McDonald's out so that people could only build McDonald's on his land and charging them rent.
No, that's clever. And obviously nowadays you can't just go in there and get your burger, your fries and milkshake within seconds, because the milkshake machines must be the ones he was selling back then, because they're always broke.
They're always broke. They're always cleaning them. I mean, how many times do you have to clean a milkshake machine in a day?
Enough time so that people never order them again.
But the best part about it, I always remember when I used to go to Ram Run and Reaper and the ones in the Midlands, when you come back through Derby, there's a roundabout with a McDonald's on it, and I always used to stop for a milkshake. Forget about everything else, but I just loved a milkshake, a vanilla milkshake from there.
You know what? I'm not sure when the last time I ate a McDonald's. I'm not doing that to, hey, look at me, but I honestly have no recollection of the last time I had a McDonald's. I gave them up when I was losing weight, but I must have had one since. I just can't remember the last time I had one.
Fast food, isn't it? It's absolutely fast food. That's all it is.
Bit like Wetherspoons.
Bit like Wetherspoons. Order it, it's at your table before your drinks.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
Touching on drinks.
Okay, go on, Alan, carry on.
Touching on drinks. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, we talked about how we're both probably not going to drink beer as much at the moment. You definitely not, me maybe. So I am actually drinking a soft drink, but a different soft drink. So this is a Ocean Spray sparkling pink cranberry.
Ooh, I like that. Pink cranberry.
I think you have to have your pinky out when you're drinking it, though. It's quite delicate.
It's like with them Pims and lemonade and you've got to drink it out. Doesn't cranberries make you go to the toilet?
Oh, well, this will be a 30-minute show.
Well, I'm drinking something else that doesn't make you go to the toilet tonight. I'm on non-alcoholic Guinness.
You know what? It's quite nice.
It is actually. It's alcohol-free Guinness, and it's different. I'm quite enjoying it. It's like it tastes just like Guinness.
When we went to Dublin a few months ago, when we went and spent some time with the Hogans, there you go, Tom, a nice shout out for you. We went in the Temple Bar and they have non-alcoholic Guinness on draft. So I ordered a half of the proper stuff for Jen, half of the non-alcoholic stuff for me. They look the same. It was almost like Russian roulette with Guinness because, of course, I was driving later on, so I couldn't drink it. And to this day, I have no clue whether I got them right.
What you like? Talking about the Ogans, that's not a good segue because I've not even put this on the notes. But last week we launched a Patreon-only competition for Builder.
We did.
Which has actually got us 2 new members. So I'm going to give them a shout-out if you're okay with that, Ian. Go on, sorry, Ian, what was that?
I was saying, go on then.
Our 2 new members are Tim Krangle and Steve Measham. So is it Measham or Mesham?
I'm not sure. If you got it wrong, we're now down to 18 Patreons.
So well done, Tim and Steve. Thank you for joining us. Your names are in the hat. Anyone else who joins our Patreon train, your name will go in the hat. It's only a week away before we do the drawing for a tub of Builder out of his own pocket.
Yeah, upset. When this comes out, it'll be 5 days.
5 days. Get in there quickly, guys and girls, if you want to join our Patreon train, get exclusive interest. And we asked our patrons some questions today, but we'll come back to that a little bit later.
We do. It does help you mould this podcast.
Very much so. Very much so. British Obstacle Sports. Let's go straight in with British Obstacle Sports. Came out on Monday. Will asked Becky and James loads of questions. Great. Good listening to them. Lots of exclusives there. But the first one to hit us, Ian, they've hit 1,650 members.
They have indeed. I was a bit disappointed that they didn't actually name the 1,650th member because I would have sent them a fitness racing patch or something. But, congratulations to who you were. Congratulations to British Obstacle Sports because I'm sure at times it felt like you'd never get there. And, Alan, we should take all the credit.
All the credit. We are the ones who take all the credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Our 2 memberships just knocked them off. No. All the credit in the world goes to the committee and everyone who volunteers their time for British Obstacle, which isn't me or Alan.
No. I think I'm actually a member and a spectator. I don't know. I've got fans.
Don't say that, Alan. They're down to 1,649 if that's true.
No, I'm not. I have got memberships in different names. I think Ali's got one and that. So, but no, it's amazing news because that now gives us. I've got to get this right. We can now apply to become a recognised sport with Sports England.
Yeah, we can make what's called a pre-application, which they will look at some of the initial structure that they've been putting on in the background, and they check. Based on that, do they think that we have enough notes behind us to make a full application? Yes or no? If they say yes, we then have a year in which to submit the full application, which will be lovely and complicated. And honestly, Alan, I'm glad I don't have to do it.
No, I'm glad I'm not even involved in any of that whatsoever. But I do wish them all of luck.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Me and Alan will help by buying you beer, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. Buy them a beer. We'll buy them beer because we'll buy them Red Bull because they're going to need it to be all that stuff in a way to write it all out.
They absolutely will need Red Bull.
Caffeine and things like that. Couple of things about British Obstacle Sports here. And while we're on, I want to say, did you listen to the podcast about the endurance series they mentioned?
I did. Did you have any idea about that?
Yeah, I did, but I was sworn to secrecy. I was asked a couple of questions about an endurance thing. Not going to be run by us, going to be run by British Obstacle Sports, as far as I'm aware, unless they ask me. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. There's some great events out there that could be part of it. So watch this space, I guess. I'd love to see some events out there. Like you've got nuclear Blast and Blackout, multi-lap events. You've got Infinity, Europe's Tough Mudder. Quick plug for me if you're listening, the people who are doing, Farmyard Jam, but yeah, there's quite a lot out there that can go. So interesting to look at.
It very much is. And I do wonder, it's probably already in the rule book, whether we've already defined what an endurance OCR is.
What would you say it is?
See, I would say anything above a marathon distance to me, or which has the ability to go over a marathon distance in case of a lapped course.
Yeah. And I think that's what I would think at. So it's either something that is going to be a timed event over a period of time, and that period of time can't just be like 1 hour. It's got to be something reasonable. I don't know what the thing is, but that, or the fact that it can potentially be an ultra. So
I'd say at least 8 hours, just based on thinking of getting the majority of people around about that marathon distance. Somewhere between 8 to 12 hours would be the sweet spot for me for a usual one. And then you've got your 24 hours. Would you put an upper limit on it, Alan?
Ooh, that's interesting, that, because in theory, you could have an event that went on for multiple days. So we know the Farmyard Jam can go on for 48 hours every other year. So every other year it's 24 hours, and every other year it's 48 hours. So, I don't know. Would you put an upper limit on it?
I don't know, because in theory, if someone was to do a backyard jam like you, which had obstacles, but run it like a backyard jam with no time limit, that would be an endurance OCR, but it would also be quite a difficult one.
It's a last man standing, isn't it? Rather than yeah, it is. I like the idea of time limits. I've got to admit, I do like the idea of time limits rather than distance. So not necessarily the first person to complete 30 miles at an OCR, but literally how far can you run it in a set period of time? And the person with the furthest distance, they're the winners to me. Yeah,
I do prefer time limit when it comes to endurance OCRs, because it is a test of your actual endurance. And I know running a ultra beast of over 30 miles is still an endurance test.
Yeah.
But it's quite different when you don't have a finish line in mind and you don't know what the person next to you is going to do. It's not a flat out sprint, is it? So yeah, that's our 2 penny. I will tell you one thing, Alan.
Go on.
I'm glad we did the first one, and therefore we could just pick any race and we don't have to think about any of these complications.
Exactly. Too right. Staying with British Obstacle Sports, a couple of updates. This Friday, so as you're listening to this on Friday, August the 25th, it is your last chance to get guaranteed entry into the British OCR Championships 2023. So you need to be registered today. If you listen to it on Friday, if you listen to it afterwards, you've missed the deadline to get guaranteed entry. So get on it. Have you gone yet, Ian?
You know what? You're going to laugh at this. I was listening to Will and Becky and James.
Yeah.
And I might be about to get kicked off this show or this network. And they were saying that to qualify for the age group, you have to do 2 qualifying races. Is it 2 qualifying races?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I actually don't think I've qualified.
Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Well, I have qualified this year because I focused on ultras this year. So, yeah, I think I would have. Yeah. No, maybe. I don't know. I've done quite a lot of Tough Mudders. Nuts. I did nuts. Nuts would have been qualifying. Yeah. I've done quite a few Tough Mudders. I've got Diablo Challenge coming up in a couple of weeks. I've got Man v Mountain. Man v Mountain's obstacles. So that's got to be a qualifier as well. Yeah, I'll have qualified, yeah. Talking about qualification. Shall we go the elite lineup so far?
Let's go. Can we just clarify to all of our listeners again that if you want to do age group at British Championships, you only have to have done 2 qualifying races, which I think is pretty much any OCR outfit. Does it have to be recognised by British Obstacle Sports?
I don't think it does this year from my recollection because they haven't licensed every event, have they? So I don't think you do this year.
No. So if you've done 2 of any OCR, and most people have done licensed events anyway, most people listen to this podcast, you are qualified to go age group. And why not just go and test yourself? It's a Spartan race. It is one which will have penalty loops or tasks, so you don't have to worry too much about the band and embarrassing yourself like that. You'll be able to just do penalty, and even if you finish dead last, you can say you were part of the first ever British obstacle sports UK champs.
Exactly. I'm going. I know I'm going, so I haven't booked my ticket yet. So I'm waiting for an invite. Not got an invite. Plug. Don't want an invite. I will gladly pay my tickets. Thank you very much, by the way. So elite lineup so far for the British champs. I'm going to go down in the order I've given them because they're mixed, men and women. So shout out to everyone. They're not in any particular order. So here we go. Shelley Tompkins, Chris Shipley, Darren Martin. Oh, Darren Martin, Chris Shipley. The challenger's back on. Rachel Decker, Gavin Hogarth, Luke De Benedictus, Ellen Wells, Fergal Keeney, Jason Brunnock, Becky Neal, Dassa Scanella, Federico Di Carria, James Burton, Josie Lloyd, Karen McQuarrie, Kate Steelwell, Louise Ferryman, Russell Walsh, Scott Barker, Shyla Dehaney, and Tamar Barkley. Good lineup.
Excellent lineup. And I'm going to go back to my previous point of saying, listener, listen to all those elites who will not be in the age group.
Yeah, definitely.
You listening to this right now, you could win your age group. Sign up.
Too right. Couple of people not on there yet that I know will be going, so I'm going to say that they're going to sign up very, very soon. Morgan is not on there at the moment. Neither is Dan Tickham. So I know them two will probably sign up. Quite a few women as well on there. I wouldn't be surprised if Imi Ailes isn't going to be on there, the way she's running at the moment and the way she's performing. So well done, Sam. Shall we go on?
Yeah, should we move on, Alan? Should we deal with the pain in the neck topic first?
Yes, let's. How can we say to our listeners that if you have got children with you now, you may want to not listen to this next section. We are going to be as factual as possible, but it's not really for young ears. Is the best way to put it?
Yeah, if you are listening with children, please put on a pair of headphones or send them off to watch Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing.
Okay, Alan, while you pull it up, I will just explain a little bit that we didn't know whether or not to go forward with this. And we did put this out to those in the podcast Pub Facebook, which consists of Patreons, and also a few people who we invited in at the start as basically sweat equity. They helped us in the early days of the podcast and as a reward in the Facebook. No, not that's a just reward is for them to decide, I guess. But yeah, if you're in the Patreon and you wonder why there's 19 patrons, but about 30 people in Podcast Pub, that's right. So we reached out to them, Alan, didn't we? And just said, should we talk about this topic? And the overwhelming thing was, yes, do, but keep it to the facts.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to do, Ian. The topic is about someone in the OCR community who has been jailed for child abuse. And his name is Anthony Ray, but a lot of people will know him as Tony Campbell from Bigfoot. So he has been convicted in Grayson County District Attorney's Office of aggravated sexual assault of child indecency with a child back in 2003. So this was before he came to the UK. He escaped for 20 years in the UK. He built up, people know him as Bigfoot over here. He got a lot of people involved in the Bigfoot challenge and helped them and things like that. I'm not going to give him too much airtime, Ian, because I don't want to give him too much airtime, because I find his actions despicable, is my honest opinion. And I was seeking to facts, but I am going to say that part. He took a lot of people in. We want to let people know about him. One of the reasons why we wanted to let people know about him, because there were allegations when he were over in this country, not with children, but with females. And we don't want to see anything like that in this country, do we? And we don't want to see nothing where people can't come along, can't feel safe, can't enjoy what they're doing. And if I don't know how to say, if you don't feel safe at an OCR because someone is doing something, I think someone put in the group, didn't there, is it a helping hand or a helping field when getting over walls? There was a female said that in our little chat. it should be a helping hand and not a helping feel. If you ever feel like that about it, there are groups out there that can help. There are support groups, and if you don't know how to find them, you can contact us. We will happily put you in people. We'll happily talk to you if you need someone to talk to and someone to bounce off. We are here for you. We won't judge. We're going to be here for you to support you and help you in the best way we possibly can. Have I said that about right? And do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'll just add a couple of things. We should probably also clarify that, as you mentioned, when the person who doesn't deserve to be named now was over here, he did build up a little bit of a cult of personality of people who were good friends with him, thought they knew him. I don't think any single one of them knew about what had happened over the pond, or at least I'd hope not. And as a result of that, people who he took advantage of, which I think is fair to say, in this country, didn't feel they could do anything because he was Mr. Bigfoot. He had all these people who would back him up. And Alan mentioned earlier about if you don't know where to turn to, we will put our hands up. We obviously have friends within the community, but we care more about the community than any one person. So we'll be there to help. There are people within British obstacle sport who are the same. That I'm not going to name people because it's not very fair for us to give out names on the podcast without first checking it with them. But we've got a lot of previous guests who will be able to help. So yeah, if you ever feel, I can't say anything because they are X, Y, and Z, please don't feel like that. Please get in touch with someone or someone outside the community. Get in touch with someone outside the community. Sometimes you need someone to look at the situation and think, that looks a bit odd. So that's what I'll say about that. The helping hand versus helping feel, that is mainly this idea that we all want to help people over obstacles. That's what we do. And this is going out to the guys, think where your hand is going and don't naturally assume that people will let you touch them anywhere. A good rule of thumb is first ask them, do you need help? Yeah. Don't just go and push it. Even if you're a bloke and it's a bloke, suddenly just shoving them off a wall or whatever, it could hurt them. And if it's a lady or if it's a different gender to you, then it could give them a very bad experience depending where your hand may go. So always ask for permission. And if you are going to put hands on people, aim for inopportune places like a foot. Give people a shoulder to step on. Use your hand underneath someone's sole of foot. Do not use the bum unless they specifically ask you to use it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's so easy to push someone by the backside and push them over. It's not nice, whether it be a man pushing a man pushing a woman, or whatever it is, or a woman pushing a man. It's just not. It's not always right. So just ask.
And I'll also go a little bit further. We are very friendly with the OCR community, but again, and this probably goes out to fellas, any unwanted contact is bad unwanted contact. That can go a lot alongside just hugs as you're seeing people. If they're not good friends with you, don't naturally assume that they want a hug. Offer a fist bump, offer whatever. Don't naturally assume they want a hug or anything. Hey, most of the time, I don't want hugs. But that's because I'm a grouchy Lancashireman.
I'm not one to go up to hug people, but I don't mind people hugging me, if that makes sense. And I will then hug them back if they make the first move. But I'm like that in as well. I'm very mindful of it. As
a Yorkshireman, you always check your wallet first, yeah, after receiving a hug.
Always check the wallet before and after the hug. That's always okay.
Sorry, we're making a joke about something. I apologize, listeners. This is how we do it. But yeah, and again, reach out to places. And Alan, what we could perhaps do is reach out to a couple of our friends in the community, and we'll pop in the show notes some places to reach out to.
Definitely. I think that's a good point. So if you've been a victim of anything like this, in our show notes, like I say, I'll put our email address in, and we will pass you on to people who want to remain anonymous. But we're always here, and we'll put support groups and that, or support networking there for you as well.
Yeah. And that's the last time we'll ever talk about that person. Okay?
Exactly. Tough Mudder. Let's talk Tough Mudder.
Let's talk Tough Mudder, because there was some Tough Mudder news this week in that their season passes are out, Alan.
Yeah, I like it. 2 season passes, 2-tier season passes.
Yeah, they've done this in the past, but you've got a choice. You can either do the El Clasico pass, which is not involving going to Spain, although that would be cool. It is just basically all Tough Mudders in the season. So I think that is priced, I want to say 440, Alan, or 420. Let me pull it up. Or have you got it up?
I haven't. I've got the price up that I've seen a pre-launch deal of 560. And that's for the season pass plus. So that's the one that's got Infinity and ETM on, isn't it?
Yeah, 440 for the classic one, which is basically of Tough Mudders, 560 for the one which includes Infinity and Europe's Toughest Mudder. In a classic case, Alan, of not doing any research whatsoever, I have no clue what the passes were priced at this year. But
no, and I don't, because I got mine free. So I got mine free with my, what is it? But I think there was round about the £400 mark the year before, 450, 460, because that's what I paid for.
But I do want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are these now worse value because you don't have the 5K and 10K?
Or are they better value because you get more distance with rather than running 5Ks? Depends what you're after.
Maybe. Yeah. I've just pulled up 2022. The Classico pass was 400 quid and the plus was 516. So they're roughly, they haven't gone up that much.
It's good value. You get 5, I think it's 5 spectator passes in there as well. Discounts to European events, if I remember rightly. And there's always get a little bit extra perks, a little bit extra swag as well, they send you, don't you?
You do, but guess what isn't there in the passes this year?
What isn't in the passes?
There's no Unholy Grail pass.
Well, if you got the plus, you would get the Unholy Grail, rightly?
You would, but the Unholy Grail used to be cheaper than any of them and was just to let you do the Unholy Grail.
Didn't they have an Unholy Grail pass as well last year?
They may have done. I can't remember. I don't think the UK passes generally come with a WTM ticket, but yeah,
the Holy Grail, not the Unholy Grail, the Holy Grail. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they had a Holy Grail one. They generally don't in the UK.
No.
But you do get some decent swag. I think this year the swag that they're going to send is, and you're going to get this too as someone who has marked themselves.
Forever marked myself.
Ever and ever and ever. And I think you get a towel with a little head thing. One of them towels you can throw on yourself and it has a hoodie on it.
Oh, lovely jubbly. Sounds absolutely so exciting, that does, Ian. Thank you for letting me know about that. I'm over the moon.
You're welcome. They call it a 3-in-1, but I'm not completely sure what. Well, I don't know. You can wash your dog with it. Maybe that's the third use.
Wilson had a bath today. Actually, a shower, by the way. Wilson had a shower today in some oatmeal shampoo. I got him.
Oh, very nice. But yeah, the perks is a 3-in-1 hooded poncho towel. Like I said, I have no clue what the 3-in-1 is. Tough Mudder, let us know.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks for that, Tough Mudder. I'm really looking forward to seeing mine, honestly. Shall we go some OCR games and give some results out? Because the OCR games were this weekend.
They were the only OCR of this past weekend and the only OCR, I believe, until the 3rd of September. So go on, Alan.
Yes. So I'm just loading them up now. So in the women's, we had 3rd place, Tamar Barkley, 2nd place, Louise Ferryman, and 1st place, who's doing really, really well at the moment, Imi Hales.
Well done to Imi for that performance and to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. In the men's, 3rd place, Gavin Hogarth, 2nd place, Morgan Maxwell, and 1st place, the man who is currently on fire, Dassos Ganella. That's 3 from 3, I think.
Yeah, who's hot? Das is very hot at the moment.
Yeah. Was it Nuclear Fit, followed by Spartan Sprint, was it? It wasn't Spartan Beast?
No, it was Spartan Beast, I think, for Dassos.
Spartan Beast, and then OCR Games, 3 weeks, 3 wins.
3 weeks, 3 wins. Absolutely.
The man on fire. What's the odds on him to win the British Championships then now?
I've no idea, but I'm fairly sure he's not going to win a race this weekend.
He's not going to win a race this weekend because there is no races this weekend.
Well, maybe he turns up to the farm that you put on Overlord and then just runs around, declares himself Overlord 2023 champ.
Because Overload should have been this weekend coming up, shouldn't it? Our normal Overload race. No, well done to him, doing absolutely amazing well. Talking about running races, didn't you run a race last week?
I did. Before we talk about my performance or lack thereof, can we talk about how it became silly season in the fitness racing world last week after we recorded?
Oh yeah, go on. Tell our listeners, because this was just crazy.
So last Thursday, listener, which, like I say, you would have had a Swift half that we'd put in the can. Last Thursday, we basically had a few people upset with High Rocks. So, as you know, High Rocks has this gym affiliate program, Alan.
Yeah.
And quite a few people were, I'll say, upset that they just don't think they're getting a fair share or fair shake out of the whole thing. They don't think that the perks they get for being affiliate actually go along with how much it's costing them.
That's current perks, because I did see some positive comments from previous years who people were saying it was really, really good, but current perks are really poor according to community.
Yeah, and we will give the facts as they are stated in the posts. A lot of people have the same opinion that when our good friend Emma was in charge of the gym affiliate program, and I'm fairly sure she was responsible for launching it in the UK, but they felt that they did have that touch point and they got guidance and nothing was too much trouble. And they do feel that once Emma left, that perhaps it was never, her role was never really replaced to the same extent.
Yeah.
So we can only give the opinions of what we've read. We don't know the facts behind that, but that is what the gym owners are saying.
They're saying a lot more than that as well, but
yeah. As we understand the position, High Rocks are aware of the concerns and are looking into it. At this moment in time, as we're recording this, Alan, we don't know what's going to happen next. We know that there's quite a few gym owners who are saying, look, we're not going to renew for next year. And some are taking a wait and see. And I guess we just monitor this story.
Yeah. I think we should start hashtag bring Emma back.
I'm not completely sure Emma would want that because she really likes what she does with MyZone and she's not been able to clone herself.
No. Bring Evie back.
That could work. that definitely could work. But yeah, we'll monitor this story. But yeah, so for 24 hours, the talk of the fitness racing world was High Rocks and its apparent snub of its gym affiliates. We should also add that something that added to this anger was a recent partnership with an app called My Coach.
Yeah.
Whose advertising slogan is get a coach, and the a coach is crossed out, and below that, get my coach.
Yes.
And that caused a few people to be upset. The slight irony is that My Coach is, I believe, either the third or fourth app that High Rocks has partners up, which is offering a similar service. I think My Coach is possibly the most, I'm trying to think of the nicest way to put it, the most directed at the individual athlete, in that you also get access to a community, whereas the other apps are kind of like, here's a training program, go through a training program. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's individual as opposed to generic.
Yeah, it's still fairly generic. The training courses themselves, and quick plug for the latest fitness racing podcast. We spoke with the gentleman behind My Coach, Ben, and he was very, very upfront with it about the fact that, yeah, they've put together 3 different training plans that you can do over a 12-week period. And although you can shift it around, you don't have the same individual one-to-one that you would if you actually hire a PT. But it's also not costing you the same as hiring a PT. So they were quite clear. But yeah, it was like the 4th type of app, but it must have been this one that just led to a few people being upset. And I also think a few other things have happened recently behind the scenes, but they're just rumors, so I can't really comment on them.
Yeah, I get that. I get the frustration, the feeling.
Yeah, and no one likes thinking that they're paying money for nothing. So that's that. So for 24 hours, Alan, we had this. And then it was announced that Decker and Clitheroe was outside, except it wasn't announced. It had already been known to anyone who was paying attention.
I thought this was funny. People saying about running outside, and I'm thinking, well, I'm sure I've heard that it was outside anyway. And I'm not even involved in that community like you are.
I'm fairly sure that most people knew, and I'm trying to be kind, but honestly, when you think of major arenas in the UK, you think Manchester, you think Glasgow, you think London, you think Leeds, you think Newcastle. Yep. You don't think Clitheroe.
No, you don't think Clitheroe. No. You don't think Clitheroe. But all deckers that I watched on YouTube, they're always outside. So every decker that's in Spartan put on it in America has been outside.
It just looks like that. It's actually in a kind of sports hall type, but yeah, it can look, it is inside, but yeah, it's not the same production values as a High Rocks.
Right, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But you went.
I did. So yeah, that was a silly season. We used to have silly season with the OCR when OCRs weren't on. So it's actually refreshing to see we had silly season with fitness racing.
I think Decker is very much fitness racing is going very much along the paths of OCR. I see so many similarities, and we share them between ourselves sometimes. And it is easy to see.
It is. It probably will. It scares me, but we're not big enough stakeholders to be able to steer the ship anyway away from what's probably coming. So we will just do our best, give our advice to people who will listen to it, and I guess enjoy the ride, Alan, because it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's now attracting people who want to make money from it, very much like OCR in its early days, where they would do things like we do, for instance, and I don't want to slate anyone off when I say this, but start a podcast up or a YouTube channel because they want to make money, not necessarily for the goodness of the sport.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. If you want to make money from a podcast, take the money that you have for your laptop, your recording equipment, your webcam, your hosting, just put it on the lottery. Put it on the lottery. You will have better odds of making money than you will. But anyway, that's my own little thing. But yeah, Alan, you are right. And that's actually going back to that fitness racing podcast with Ben. I really hope that some of the gym people who are upset at the moment listen to that, because he was very honest about what he's doing, what he's not doing. And he was very much on their side that, look, anything that advertises itself using High Rocks should be a partner of High Rocks. You shouldn't be able to use their name to basically plug and sell yourself. That's why we don't use High Rocks in our podcast name.
No. We only use the word OCR because it was UKOCR when we first started, and it was patented.
Yeah, and obstacle racing is the name of the sport.
Yeah.
Fitness racing or hybrid racing, whatever it becomes, is the name of the sport. We don't call ourselves the High Rocks Podcast.
No, we don't.
But you are right. There's lots of people who are looking. I saw this, Alan, on the hashtag High Rocks, of a running coach saying, "Oh, I see more and more people doing High Rockses. I'm not going to do one. However, if you need help with your running, here's my details."
Yeah, I saw that. I did think that was funny. You're going to get that, though. You're going to, like I said, people are going to use it now to advertise and try and make a couple of pounds from. Anyway, tell me about Clitheroe. Tell me what happened at Decafit.
Well, the one thing that did happen is somehow I crossed the line before the intern, but had it been a shorter race or a mile or a strong, the intern would have kicked my backside.
You told me that there's a video out there, and I can't wait to see this video of you throwing sandbags over your shoulder where you're really struggling. The intern's just throwing them over like the matchsticks.
You know what? I'm going to put that in the pub. I will put that in the Swift Half pub probably before this comes out, or probably not before it comes out for Patreons. But yeah, I'll put that in. But yeah, the fact that I can run a 5K maybe, I'd say 7, 8, maybe 9 minutes faster than the intern, meant that I didn't get tricked by the intern because I think there was only 3 minutes in it, Alan.
That close. That close.
It was really close. The burpees, yeah, I got there beforehand, but she got there whilst I was still burping. So yeah, and to be fair, she probably won because I don't think my burpees were reps. I'm not putting that video up. So some of my burpees look like high planks.
So there's no one out there who's actually took a video yet, and they're slating you on social media for this.
Oh, there's a video. Katie Twig's got a video, but it's not up anywhere. It's definitely not going up anywhere. But as for the race itself, CrossFit Clitheroe put on a fantastic show. They really did put on a great show. It was a party atmosphere, mate. It was amazing. They had, I'd say, between 150 to 200 people, including spectators. It felt like several times more than that.
Right. So it was a good event. I like it when I hear about these were the first guys to become affiliated. It's great that they've grown to this point where they're putting on a good event like this.
The first to get affiliated under the new regime. Let's go back and give out props to our good friends in Cirencester, who were technically the first affiliate program, but they can't put on an event, so they just are an affiliate from a point of view of being able to do workouts. So big shout out to those guys. But yeah, it's been great to see these guys grow. It was a fantastic time. And Alan, do you remember when you did a High Rocks having not really trained for it?
Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't really trained for this because, again, I'm in a downturn. And yeah, it was very difficult. The lunges were hard. But I knew they'd be hard. So I'd kind of like psych myself up for, if I get through these, I'll be fine. And then it was the farmer's carry. Did you realize the farmer's carry for DECA is heavier than the one at High Rock? Well, not the Pro, but heavier than the Open.
Well, I did Pro, didn't I? So I don't know. So what were the Pros at IROX? Are they 30 kilograms each?
32k, and this was 27.5 as opposed to 24.
Right. Okay.
But it was dumbbells, which I find are harder.
Oh yes, dumbbells are definitely harder than carrying kettlebells. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So that was painful. And do you remember back in the day, we're going to insult some people. Do you remember when we used to jokingly mock people who went and did the short course World OCR and took 2.5 hours to do it because we'd waited 40 minutes for their arms to stop hurting?
Yes.
I had every sympathy for them on around about my 8th carry in the farmer's walk because my forearms haven't hurt that much since the first time I went climbing.
Tough then, mate. Tough. But did you enjoy it? Did you actually enjoy finishing it?
Eventually, yeah. I'm going to finish with one final thing that I hadn't actually expected. The ball over shoulders that we're going to put a video of. Because I thought the dumbbells were £60 in each hand. This ball was also £60. And I thought, you know what? If I can pick up these dumbbells, which are double the weight, that'll be fine. I won't have any. Yeah, it wasn't fine.
How many did you have to throw over your shoulder?
20, but it might as well have been 50.
Did you drop any on your heels?
Not a single one, because honestly, every time it went over the shoulder, I felt like just running away. So
that would be my. I just every time I do that exercise, I always dream that I'm going to drop one on my heel.
You step forward and you don't.
Yeah. I do step forward, but I still think I'm going to drop it on my heel. It's just a phobia I've got of doing it.
Yeah, and it was hard to pick up. Yeah, similar to like in High Rocks, Alan, you found out and I found out that the lunges are things that really take care of you.
Yeah.
In this, the ball over the shoulder.
But you didn't have to finish with wall balls.
I didn't have to finish with wall balls. I finished with allegedly burpees, but we won't talk about that. Should we give out some plaudits to people who actually did a lot better than me?
Yes, let's give some results out.
I've got them up, and of course I've lost them. But yeah, let's go. Should we go with individuals first?
Yes.
Elite male, our good friend James Muscat was first, winning yet another run that he'll be unable to take to Canada. He got a time of 35:28. Friend of the show, Daniel Edwards, 35:52. So close. He was close. And he was leading the race for lots of it. But as we find out in fitness racing, that experience counts for so much.
Yeah. Pace.
And it really does. And in third place, we had Sam Hutchinson. So well done, Sam. In the elite ladies, in first place, we had Sasha Vargin, so Alexandra Vargin, but everyone knows her as Sasha, with a time of 40 minutes and 15 seconds. In second place, we had Lauren Jocelyn with a time of 40 minutes and 24. And then in third place, we had Terry Moore with a time of 33:53. Terry is one of the organisers at DECA Clitheroe cross training. So she ran out later afterwards and got a time. Let's go through the teams as well, Alan, because there are some people in the teams who people in the community will know. So let's go firstly with the males team. So in first place, we had from Forders Gym, Harry Bird and Sean Cunliffe with a time of 30 minutes and 3 seconds. Second place was Lewis Ambert and Mark West, 32:06. And third place, Alan, from the Spartan community, the Welsh Spartan, Owain Grufford.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember his IG name. I want to say it's Rook something or other. Sorry about this, but Joe Walton. Well done to Owain and Joe with time of 35:17, beating fourth place by a good minute and a half, actually.
Wow, well done.
So well done to those. In the female category, again from Team Forders Gym, we had Ellie Freer and Catriona McDonald, 35:10. In the female, we had Christy Hyams and Kylie Wakefield in second place. Christy Hyams is protein bars and OCRs on IG.
Wow.
And then third place, we had Jessie Foot, and I'm not sure who her teammate was because it's listed her twice. So,
Jessie and Jessie.
Co-ed from Forders again. So for those of you keeping track at home, this is 3 Forders podium. We had Rachel Ackers and Darren Forder. In second place, that was a DECA time 32:06. Second place, we had Beth Ashton and Joshua Forth, 35:01. And then in third place, Tia Rianne Wooler and Sam Dobie, 36:32. So well done to everyone. And you know what, Alan? I'm on a roll.
Go on. Why are you on a roll?
I'm on a roll. And there was 2 DECA events that happened this weekend. We also had DECA Strong Caveman training.
Oh, go on then.
We'll give out the results of that. So in the male in DECA Strong, we had Max Rollinson, also of Forders Gym.
Right.
So
Forders
that's
Gym,
another...
They're getting more. This is like Forders Gym must be the nuclear phoenix of DECA.
They really must be. And while we're talking about that, we'll give a shout out to Kirsty Keating, also of Forders Gym, who was the overall ladies AG fastest time over at DECAFIT as well. So they're just racking up the points. So Max was first with a time of 14 minutes 52. Pete Gillett was second with 14 minutes 55.
Wow, that is close.
And then Rich Warmold with a time of 15 minutes 18. Shout out to Pete because he was at the first ever DECA Strong at CrossFit Clitheroe. I think DECA Strong is very much his event. So well done to all of them. In the women's, we had Rebecca Mason in first place for the ladies with a time of 13 minutes 45 seconds.
Wow.
Which put her in the top 20 in the world, I believe.
That is fast.
That is fast. Rebecca, of course, was in the Elite 15 of High Rocks last year.
Yeah.
Second place, Team Mizon, Stacey Horner, 17:01. I think she's Team Mizon. If not, she is now. And then we had Lucy Hodgkinson, 17:29. So well done to everyone. Caveman Training is having a DECA mile on the 30th of September. But if you've not got a ticket yet, you may or may not get one because they're currently sold out and trying to put some more slots on.
Wow. Rebecca Mason, that's an amazing time. 3 minutes plus above second. Well done.
It is. While we just finishing off with fitness racing news, we talked about the High Rocks relay event. Well, you and Martin were meant to talk about it when I was on my jollies and completely forgot, but
Yeah, we did.
we mentioned it, and High Rocks is now sweetening the pot by putting a grand up for the best three teams. So the top place male team, top place female, and top place mix. So you can go there and win a grand.
333. Is it 3 in a team? 3 in a relay team? Or 4?
4, so 250 quid a piece.
Nice one. Nice one.
So, Alan, if there are 3 Elite 15 athletes who want a challenge, that challenge being I'll be on the team, get in touch.
Go on the team a lot. And if there's 3 really, really fast athletes that want me on the team, don't get in touch. Don't bother.
Yeah, Alan, you can do the lunges.
Yeah, that's where we'll lose it all. Run the Lights was this weekend. You normally go there.
I did, and I went there. So 12 hours after we'd done the Decker fit, we thought the best idea was to run the lights.
So this is Blackpool 10K, is it?
It's Blackpool 10K. You run down the promenade. They test the lights this time of year to check that all the bulbs are working, and no one from Yorkshire has popped across the border to steal some. Happens all the time.
All the time. Why do you think we've got a pink room? Because we've got pink lights here. If that little pink nose on, it's missing.
But yeah, so they test the lights. You run from one side of the prom to the other, turn around. Big shout out to Will Chung, who I guess won our small little team of people who were doing it of 4. So well done to Will. Well done to the intern who also ran it and did really well, actually. She got quite a good time. I won't say it's a PB, but it's her best time for a while, which, given she did a deco in the morning, is impressive. And also a big shout out to Steve Marshall, who we weren't expecting, but turned up, solo modesty, and also known as Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And I've just realised I referred to him as Steve Marshall, even though his surname's not Marshall, but we'll keep his anonymity because he likes that. So, and he accompanied me all the way down, which poor guy, yeah.
You've put on here as well, shout out to Chris Lamb. What was Chris Lamb?
Yeah, Chris Lamb, as opposed to Chris Shipley.
Yeah.
Went there. He actually went, Alan. I spoke to him briefly because of us.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He had heard about Run the Lights on the Swift Half and thought, I'll have some of that.
Nice one. So we're sending people to events that we don't usually promote as well.
Yeah, exactly, to non-OCR events. And not only did he say, I'll have some of that, he also won.
Oh, well done, Chris. What was his time? Because I know he's fast. You know his time?
His time? Oh, I had it a second ago, which probably means I've lost it. Why is it gone? Sorry, Alan, I appear to have lost it. It was sub 18. It was I want to say it was 17:30. He beat second place by a minute and a half, thereabouts.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. So about 5K then, was it?
He was the 5K. He did the 5K version of it. And what's quite hilarious is that it has over 1,000 people doing it, Alan.
Yeah.
And the turnaround, of course, Chris got to the turnaround quite quickly. So running 17, he would have got to the turnaround, about 9 minutes in? Probably less than that, 8 minutes in?
8 minutes in.
So as he was running back, of course, by that time, they haven't started shepherding people to the other side because they don't expect people to be coming back because it's out and back. So he was having to weave. I reckon he would have got sub 17 if he didn't have to weave through people. I think he said he had to run on the tram lines at various points because there was just, it wouldn't surprise me if by the time he got back, there were still people leaving the start chute.
Wow. He's running really well at the minute. I remember rightly, he won the AG at Spartan we talked about the other week. Well done, Chris. Flying on a roll. Well done, Chris.
Right. He did well. And Alan, we should take full credit.
Well, we're taking credit all the time for these, Ian. Guaranteed to take the credit.
Yeah. Oh, I was absolutely right, Alan. His gun time was 17 minutes 31.44. Actually, his chip time was 17 minutes 29.72. So he didn't start bang on the gun, which is kind of funny.
It must have ran from a little bit from behind then.
Yeah, a couple of seconds, and second place, 18:55. So yeah, well done. And I will say that second place was a guy called John Durham, who's Riversway Road Runners. So they're fast.
Wow. I've got 2 stories to go. One that you've deleted from my notes, but it was the British Fell Running Championships this weekend. I think when you put your notes and you missed it, you must have deleted mine by accident. But the winners had the best prize ever. So as a trophy, they were given shovels, Ian. That's amazing. Win a race and get a shovel.
Oh God, I could have really, really used a shovel at Decker when I was finished.
Which I thought was really funny. But then I've got another story, which I think is quite interesting. So everyone knows about Killian Jornet, one of the greatest runners of modern times, shall we say. He has signed. First of all, did you know UTMB have got a new sponsor?
I did not know they had a new sponsor.
So UTMB have got a new sponsor called Dacia, car manufacturers, as we know. And the Green Runners Club have started a petition. So, UTMB Mont Blanc, it's a lovely open space. They're against Dacia being one of their sponsors, and they've started a petition. And Killian Jornet signed it. I expect that. Damon Hill signed it. And a few other people signed it. Look, quite a few famous people have signed it. And then Killian signed it. And it's brought a little bit of a backlash from the community. The reason being is that Killian is sponsored by Mercedes. So what's your thoughts on this, Ian? Because is it just pure hypocrisy? Or is it jumping on the bandwagon? What's your thoughts?
I think Killian needs to sack his publicist.
So do I. I was really shocked when I read it. There is a bit of backlash about it. There's a lot of people supporting him and that. And it's on a Facebook group called the Green Runners, which is all about, keeping the world green and that. But it is very much along the lines of you can't be against a car manufacturer sponsoring a race if you're sponsored by a car manufacturer. And there's people talking about it travels the world in aeroplanes. Is it right?
No, and I need to be careful where I fall on this whole green thing, because I am fully in support of environmental endeavours, trying to find the words there, which I'm not going to say secret, but which are not obviously trying to greenwash.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think it probably is a bit silly them being sponsored by a car company. But saying that, Alan, the thing I come back to all the time when it comes to this, and I know it's a bit of whataboutism, if you eliminate from your life every single corporation which you should oppose on moral grounds, you've run out of things to eat, things to wear very, very quickly.
And I fully agree. And I try and be as green as I can. I do the general stuff. I'm not going to say I got out of my way to be green. I car share. I use separate bins. I tend not to, waste electricity and things like that. But I think this just stinks a little bit of hypocrisy to me. I think, but saying that though, Killian's sponsored by Mercedes, and Mercedes are right at the forefront at this moment in time of trying to go green themselves. So, going all down the green route of electric powered cars and things like that, which, I don't know about Dacia, but maybe Dacia are going down that route as well. So maybe they're looking long term UTMB, and maybe that's where they're going. I don't know.
Maybe they are. And the other aspect is UTMB need, in theory, sponsors. And unfortunately, at this moment in time, the ones which have all the morals and the ones which are greener than green don't have the money.
Yeah,
I wish that wasn't the case. I absolutely wish that wasn't the case. But what I'd like to see UTMB do is offset. Just do a carbon offset. But that's controversial in its own way, but it would be something, wouldn't it?
It would. And on that note, Ian, I think we're out of notes.
I think so, but I will say that this podcast is green, Alan.
Well, your wall's green.
My wall's green, but we recycle most of our jokes.
Yes, we recycle jokes. I like that one. We are recyclable.
And speaking of recycling the classics, I'm going to say, Alan, it's a goodbye from me.
And listeners, thank you very much for listening once again. We do hope you'll follow us. We do hope you join our Patreon trail. You stay safe. You keep on running. Thanks for listening. Take care and bye.